Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and also welcome to the government scheme session. And currently we are doing all the schemes ministry wise, and the scheme that we are covering today, it is Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana RAFTAAR. So by now I hope you must have guessed which ministry we are covering for now. So yes, we are covering Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and we will do all the flagship schemes that are under this, and then we'll have a quick revision before we move towards the next ministry. And one thing I want to assure you that you need not to worry. Before your examination I'll cover all the schemes. All right, so see, before understanding all the important dimensions that come in examination, let's just first understand that what is the meaning of the name of this scheme, and half of our work would be done after that. All right, so let's understand what this particular scheme is all about. So what we do, we'll translate Hindi into English and all the complicated words into simpler terms for the better understanding. All right, see, the first word is Rashtriya, so it means national. Next is Krishi, so Krishi is the farmer. Vikas means development, and then we have the term Yojana, which means scheme. So this scheme, it is something or all about, we can say, development of farmers at national level. All right, next now comes the word remunerative. So this is something which means profitable. We can say it can mean lucrative. All right, or you can say it means rewarding financially. All right, so herein we are talking about something that involves money, which is profitable, which someone gives to somebody. All right, that is what this remunerative term means. Then is approach. So which approach? Wherein you are rewarding money, you are giving money, that type of approach. And for which sector? For agriculture. So all the crops, animal husbandry, that comes in agriculture. And allied sector. Allied sector means such sector which is dependent on agriculture. So, or you can say the sector which is associated with agriculture, that is the allied sector. And then rejuvenation, it means new energy, you can say. So when you put some new energy into some existing, or you can say new life, new energy, renewing something, that is known as rejuvenation. So herein the focus is on the development on the farmers all across India, and to have a profitable approach for agriculture and its allied sector, to renew it, to give new energy into these sectors, and this scheme is all about that. So in this scheme, what will happen, all the states and UTs, they are eligible to be part of this scheme, and what would happen, they would be given money. So government, they would just give them money, and then the state UTs, they can utilize it accordingly, according to the needs of the farmers of that area. All right, so this is all about this scheme. Now let's understand the important dimensions which are asked in your examination. But before that, to our new audience, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also join our Telegram channel to get the PDF of every lecture that we provide here on YouTube, and the link of it is given in the description box below. All right, so let's start with the basic things. All right, but before that, one more thing that I want to share here is, see, when this particular scheme, it was released in 2007, at that time its name was Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. All right, so there was no RAFTAAR that was added to it. All right, just the name. That time it was a center sector scheme. What is a center sector scheme? These are such scheme which is 100% funded by the central government. Those are the center sector scheme. But then what happened? This name, it was later changed into Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana RAFTAAR. Full form we have already studied. This happened in 2017, while this type, which was initially center sector scheme, it was changed to center sponsored scheme in 2014-15 tenure. All right, so in this financial year, initially which was sector scheme, so now from 2014-15 this scheme, now the type of the scheme has been changed into center sponsored scheme. So I hope this is clear to you all. And in 2017 this RAFTAAR term was added because we are talking about new energy here. So since 2017 more focus has been given, and hence the change of the name. Now let's look at what was the launch year. So that we have already studied, and it was 2007. And ministry, we already know it is Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. All right, so they see see that Ministry of Agriculture, it comes under that, but the implementing agency would be State Agriculture Department, right? Because we know that all the state, because this is state specific, state can take their own action, they can plan their own execution, how they want to utilize that money, right? So that is why State Agriculture Department, that would be the implementing agency. Funding pattern, as it is a center sponsored. Initially it was center sectored, but then it was changed to center sponsored scheme. So funding pattern, how it would be for center and state, for normal all states, that would be 60:40. For the north, center and northeast states and hilly region, that would be 90:10, means 90% will be funded by central government and 10% by the state government. And finally for UTs, that is 100% funded by the central government. So that is the funding pattern, because this is a center sponsored scheme. Next is about the aim. So what is the aim of this particular scheme? So see herein, the aim is to make farming a remunerative, a profitable economic activity. So herein aim is so that the who do farming, they actually gain profit from it, they have a good business in it through, and how this will be done? Through strengthening the farmer's efforts. The farmer, he puts a lot of effort in cultivating the crop, but due to the lack of proper infrastructure, proper storage facility and other things, the crop, it gets waste, right? And farmer's effort, it goes in vain. That is why we have to strengthen that. Risk mitigation, alright, so mitigation means to reduce. So here it is to reduce the risk. Next is promoting agribusiness entrepreneurship. How this risk will be reduced, we'll study in further slides. Alright, and promoting agriculture business and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship means when you have your own business, that is entrepreneurship. Now let's look at the key feature, and that is the major focus here under this particular scheme, that would be on pre and post harvest infrastructure. Harvest means when you cut down the crop, that is your harvest. So before that, whatever infrastructure is required, and after that also whatever infrastructure is required, that would be taken care. That would be the main focus under this particular scheme. Next is promoting agribusiness entrepreneurship and innovations also. Alright, so innovation would also be focused on this, which innovations can help the farmers to get the profit. Next we'll look at the objectives. So what are the objectives of this scheme? First one is to strengthen the farmers' efforts, that we have already studied, right? And how? By creation of pre and post harvest agriculture infrastructure, so that whatever cultivation has been made, they can actually, the farmer, he has that right, or he has that choice to, if he wants to sell it at that moment only, or if he wants to store it, right, accordingly. Next is to provide autonomy. Autonomy means when you have control over your actions. So that is what autonomy is. And flexibility to states to plan and execute schemes as per local farmers' needs. So here in the states or UTs, they would have this choice, this right, that they can use the funds given under the scheme according to the needs of the local farmers. All right. So next is to promote value chain addition. So what does this term mean? See, chain means where there are various steps involved, and value addition, it means what? That in every step there is some value added to the initial product. For example, from sugarcane, sugar is made, right? So you know the value of sugar, the price here I'm talking about, and next you know the sugar price of a sugar that you eat at home also, right? So it's quite higher, right? So that means one value has been added to the product, initial product, that was the sugarcane. Now if you use this sugar for the making of you can say cake, right? So in next step also the value has been added. So what is value promote value chain addition means in every step some value is added to the product, so that farmers, he gets benefit. Or other example could be ketchup from tomato, right? Or chips from potato. So these are the value chain addition. So herein that would be focused on. Next is to mitigate, to reduce risk of farmers with focus on additional income generation activities. So they would be taught under this particular scheme about the different options they can also do for the additional income. For example, if a farmer he grows just crops, there may be chances that due to failure, due to climate condition or any condition, he may face crop failure, right? So he would be under very much loss. But along with that, if he does, for example, beekeeping, that is your apiculture, or you can say mushroom cultivation, he would have at least one source, or even if he has good profit from that crop, he would have additional source of income from the rest of it, right? So here in additional source of income, they would be taught about that, how they can expand their agriculture business, because at last agriculture, it's a business only. And lastly, to empower youth, all right, how they would empower youth through skill development, by teaching them, by creating skills in them, innovation and agri-entrepreneurship based on agri-business model. They would be taught about agri-business model they can adopt for the entrepreneurship purpose, and also they would be promoted for the different innovations that would attract them to agriculture. All right, so I hope these objectives, they are clear to you all. Quite simple, are they? Now let's look at what is a financial allocation. See, we have studied that yes, it is a central sponsored scheme, but how this money will be allocated, now let's look at that. See, the funding pattern, it is 100%. What it means here is that center would pay its ratio, the state would pay its ratio, and ultimately that would reach to 100%, right? For example, let's assume that the total it is 1,000, that the central government and state government, they have clubbed together, and the budget for this year, that would be rupees 1,000, right? Now what would happen, this 100% would be divided into 3 different sections. So 70% will be given for regular RKVY RAFTAAR. What it means, whatever the regular purpose was, which was infrastructure development, right, pre and post harvest, which was agribusiness development, right, and we had risk mitigation, we had processes, that would be the training to the farmers about the new generation, income generations, right? So everything, that would be 70% of the fund will be given to that. So what would be the 70% of 1,000? That would be rupees 700, right? Then what would happen? The 20%, because 70, now 30% is still left, right? That would be 20 and 10, that would be divided into 20 and 10. 20% will be given into special sub schemes. So there are some special sub schemes under this particular program also, and 20% will be given for that. Next is 10% will be allocated for the innovation and agri-entrepreneurship development. All right, so 10% will be given for the new innovations in agriculture sector, new agri-entrepreneurship development programs. All right, so 10% will be given. Now, so it means what? So rupees 200 will be given for this, and then rupees 100 will be given for this. Now see, this 70% will further be divided into the fund that would be divided into for various purpose. Now here you are looking at, this is 50%, this is 30, and this is 20, which constitute to 50, and 50 and 50 is 100, right? Why 100? Because this, now this person, this 700, that in itself is 100% when we divide it further, right? The 700, now it's a whole amount in this, we have to forget about this, right? Because this is now 700. So we have maintained now this 700 as 100%, and then from that we have divided into different parts. Now what would happen? This 50% of this, so what would be the 50% of 700? That would be 350 rupees. So that would be, so 50%, half of the money will be given, will be invested in the infrastructure and all the assets generation. All right, 30% of the amount will be used for value addition linked production. We have already studied about this, right? I think you are, it's clear, and I need not to repeat it again. And if it's still not clear, you can comment down, I'll definitely reply. Next is 20% of the fund that will be used for flexi funds. Flexi means flexible. So these are the flexible funds, they can be used accordingly, the needs that are there. So this is a financial allocation, and I hope it is clear to you all. Now let's see that how this money, we have studied that this money it will be allocated into every state and UT. So how much money will be given under this? So here is a criteria and parameters. For example, 15% will be given. So weightage will be, means percentage share of net unirrigated area in a state. So whatever percentage of unirrigated, means where water is not available for irrigation in that particular state, that would be compared with the net irrigated area in all states. So whatever irrigation unirrigated, It is unirrigated area on all states. So what percentage of unirrigated area is in that particular state and all across the nation, that would be compared, and 15% weightage will be given for that. And there are certain different weightages that has been mentioned here, and you can read it in the PDF also. And this criteria then will be taken into account to how much money will be given in a particular state. So that was all about the scheme. Now let's have a quick revision of it for better understanding. So the launch year, it was 2007, and the ministry, it was Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Implementation agency, it is a state agriculture department, with the aim is to making farmer a remunerative economic activity, right, to give them profit. And how that would be done by strengthening the farmers effort, risk mitigation, right, and agri entrepreneurship. Key feature, that was pre and post harvest infrastructure, promoting agri entrepreneurship innovation. Objectives were to strengthen farmers efforts, right, by pre and post harvest infrastructure, to provide autonomy and flexibility to state how they want to utilize the money according to the needs, to promote value chain addition, that we have studied in every step value will be added, to mitigate risk of farmers, all right, by alternative income generations. And then we had to empower youth by skill development, innovation, and agribusiness models will be taught to them. And funding, that was a center sponsored scheme that we have studied. And funding allocation, that we studied in the last slide. 70% will be given for regular work, all right, and then 20% was for the sub schemes, and then 10% were for the innovations. And for that 70% also, we had three categories. 50% of that 70% that will be given for the infrastructure and assets, right. So that is all about this particular scheme. Now there is a homework for you all right. Sorry, this is the answer of the previous homework, and that was, I asked about the participatory guarantee scheme, and Ayushi, she said the correct answer of that was launched in 2011, and she also gave the additional information. Rohan said the correct answer. Himanshu, thank you very much that you are appreciating and you are able to understand what I say, what I teach basically. But there we have different faculties for different things, and whoever would be teaching you and whoever teaches you, they all are doing their best, and they will do that, right? And then Prashantu, yeah, I hope your query is resolved in the PDF. And Amrita said the correct answer, and Ripin said yes, we are covering agriculture schemes. You can check out the playlist, there are many. Ranjani said the correct answer. Sanket, yes, these dimensions are more than enough for your examination. These schemes are more than enough for your examination. Then Ani said the correct answer. So that was about the last one. And now you have, government has aimed to double farming income by 2022 under which scheme? So you have to tell that which this, we know that farmer income has to be doubled by 2022, that is the aim of the government, but under which scheme that would be covered, you have to tell, and this is your homework. And yes, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the session, and if you have any query, you can comment down below. I'll definitely reply to that. Thank you.